Love is not something we find, it is something we become. Living life as art.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Living Life as Art. Today we are sat in the spiral. You have to come to the exhibition in Poole to witness it yourself. But on the floor there's this spiral and it's in these three colours, which is represented behind us as the atelier, which is where Hazel drew all her spells. Red, white and black, which we spoke about in the previous episode of Life, Death and Rebirth. Tell us why we're here in the spiral.
Thank you. So this is Journey 2 in the Oracle.
Brilliant.
Soul Prophecy Oracle, which you can order from my website, pre-order, get your hands on a copy. And there's 4 journeys in the Oracle, and this is Journey 2, because this is what comes out of the books that we spoke about. After you've made the vow to yourself, well, you have to take the journey. And the journey into discovering, okay, so as a woman, this is, this part is for awakening the wisdom of yourself as a woman. But it's also, I know that you've also found this really useful, haven't you, to learn?
Well, it matches up with the gene keys. We haven't even spoken about that, have we?
We haven't spoken about that.
It matches up with the gene keys.
Okay.
Like Hazel channeled all this and we were reading the gene keys and we were like, oh my God.
I know. I didn't even know about the gene keys until I finished the Oracle. And then it was like, whoa, it all matches up. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But
But that's how I'm just saying, as a man, that's how I related to these cards, which are about feminine wisdom.
yeah,
Through the
because
gene keys.
yeah, and essentially we're coming into this era where we're honoring the feminine. So I know you found this really important to understand these different aspects of
Yeah.
the embodied feminine.
Yeah.
So it's it's for couples, for men and women alike who are on the journey of love.
Absolutely, yeah. To understand your woman, you need to understand the Oracle deck. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so this second journey, I actually thought that the whole Oracle was going to be red, black and white at one point, because I was creating all of these pictures. And well, the first one that I drew, I mentioned this in the video 1 about the sacred nemesis.
Yeah, the sarcophagus.
Yeah. So you have to put that in the video,
Yeah.
so you can see that. The sarcophagus portal, that was when I was writing my novel, which will be published, which is a deeper understanding of this journey of evolution through storytelling. I was called to put myself on the page. I drew this, what turned out to be this picture. I cried for hours thinking that I was actually going to die, but this is whilst I was drawing it, and I was scared to draw what came next because I didn't know. And like the women who came to visit the gallery earlier and asked me, how do I draw these? This is what happened here. I put my face on the page, and then I think I started drawing those 2 faces, and then they were looking at a body in the middle. And I realized that I was burying myself. I was giving myself into death, which is what I've said from Journey 1. The first card is death. This is another death card. This is an embodied portal into your own surrender. Again, you stay in your body, but you're leaving those parts of you that do not serve you. And that is the frequency that this holds. This also opened up my work with plant medicine. It opened up that deep surrender to a greater something that I did not know at that time was available.
This is fascinating because what number 13 reminds me of it. I don't know if you've ever read the book. I remember when we met, I mentioned it to you. It's a book called Initiation. And then she goes back to Egypt in the past life, and she actually finds herself, as part of her initiation, locked inside a sarcophagus where she has to face her demons and she can't handle it. It's really fascinating. But what I want to say is, if you come to the exhibition, I've been watching some of the people walking through here, and they walk the spiral, but they really come over here, pay attention to the detail. It's fascinating because there's drawings here that aren't actually in the Oracle, and it shows Hazel's evolutionary process of how some of these cards have evolved and come into the Oracle deck, and there's just so much detail here. She's gone to so much trouble. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. So much detail. Sorry, I just had to say that because I was absolutely loving it. It's incredible. Yeah.
Well, I'll say something about that. It's about following the lines, this intuition as a storyteller, as an artist, as an illustrator, as a speaker through visionary work. It's about being in union with those tools that you use as an artist, so that what is inside can come outside, what is above can come through you, what is below can be embodied. And all of that comes into this ceremonial way in which I work. And even just in something like creating a picture, that's how deep I work. Every card is a ceremony. Every card is not a pretty picture. Yes, it is, but it's a ceremony. It has been an embodied ceremony. And that's really where this started working. So this is me, you know, this is pictures of me from the previous exhibition that I was here, embodying that storyteller, embodying she who is going to take the journey, and allowing this intuitive process to work through the red, the black, the white, learning how to rebirth myself, learning how to die, learning how to live again, until I was guided to stop and go to the next journey. But we'll talk about that afterwards. But that's what this process is.
Right.
Learning about the sacred feminine is not just about learning about the sacred feminine and now I've embodied it. It's like, no, the embodied sacred feminine is learning, she who really learns how to transmute pain into pleasure, transmute those wounds into incredible healed gifts, so that your soul can live through you.
Yeah.
All of my work is about becoming that clear vessel, hollow bone, the chalice. All of that starts coming through. When you don't stop, you keep going.
Wow.
You start embodying this. You become the labyrinth, you become the chalice, the rose, the process. And this is what this happened to me. And it was guided, I was guided by keep drawing the lines. And so this is why this is an atelier.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're naming some of the chapters in my book, which is about plant medicine integration. It's going to be here in the exhibition in the last week. And I'm not sure how deep you want to share. I mean, you know, you can discern what you want to share, but you mentioned plant medicine, and you and I couldn't have finished this journey without plant medicine, right? But tell us about your first initiation, because you spoke about it here, and this is the sarcophagus. Tell us more.
So, I think that it was around the time when I was introduced to really profound indigenous ceremonial work that started deepening the ceremonial work that I'd already, the template of that I'd already started with my priestess work.
Wow.
And this was leading me deeper. So there was the priestess work, the working with the Wheel of the Year, the ceremonial work with my artwork, and then these initiations came through various different, working with different shamans and different traditions. Again, I never stopped at any one. I was very lucky to get hours and hours of sacred teachings saying that these medicine people had come here so that we can remember ourselves, not so that we adopt their culture, but we remember ours. And this has been one of the most profound things that I have carried with me, because they came over to share their medicine, not for us to think that it was ours, for us to rediscover our own. We've got some guests come in.
Get some guests also in the exhibition.
So this was part of, you know, this opening that happened here with this.
Okay. Just hold that thought for a pause.
Sorry. Hello there. No,
That's all right.
Okay. So this card was a really important part of learning how to surrender to that deeper ceremonial way. And those indigenous teachings that came in through, first of all, it was with ayahuasca. I had no idea what that was about. I was introduced to it. I was very, very lucky to sit with a whole host of tribal people and receive some very profound teachings.
You sort of an Arctic shaman, didn't you?
Also, yes, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. And
You're
I think
pretty lucky. That's incredible.
I don't know how I did it. I think my soul was really supposed to be there at that time.
Yeah.
And there's always been something with me where I've been having this energy of stay here, stay in the art, stay with your gift. And everything's kind of just come to me in a way. Even though I have traveled a lot, I haven't purposefully been searching for these things. These things have found me. And so I've also paid attention to that. And I think these are things that are really important to pay attention to, you know. Watch who comes on your path. This is what this is about as well. All these different women who started stepping in after I did my portrait, I had a vision. Who's the next one who's going to come? I asked her, can I draw you? She said yes. And then another one came. And I was like, something's happening here. This is just incredible. And this, with the sacred feminine wisdom just started showing itself to me through the illustrations. And then women started contacting me and saying, hey, can you do my portrait? So then it switched around, and that's how I started doing soul portraits for people. And so then I opened it up and people commissioned me to be part of the oracle. And that's how this whole thing just like expanded, got further evolved. And since then, there's been over 50 portraits of people who are all part of the oracle, and they've all received a soul prophecy reading, a soul prophecy portrait that has become part of the oracle. You're so welcome.
Thank you very much for CIC, because that's why I'm going to come back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, excuse any noise or interruptions. We are in the middle of a live exhibition, so people are walking in and walking out and walking around. So I quite like this. I like the buzziness.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
So I think this is what this section is about. It's about seeing who you meet on the journey, seeing what gifts they have. Every woman is a profound mirror to yourself. This is where the mirror work begins. Seeing soul to soul. What teachings are there? What are they available? Taking your journey, learning, being grateful for that. Seeing where the shadow arises, what part of the black arises, the shadow. Where do you rebirth in the encounter? Where is their new life? Because you've learned something. And that's all here in this part of the journey.
Yeah. Do you know what I really love is that this is your exhibition, and most people set up their exhibition and just leave it, but you're actually here, you're giving time to it so people can come and speak to you. So come on down.
Yeah.
We had a couple of women come in earlier and we were answering questions, so we're happy to be here and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. And if you do feel like you would like to have a soul portrait journey with me, contact me, because I always have a few spaces available.
Okay.
And that's something that I wanted to mention as well, is that what we've done today is we've set up the guest wall, the guest art, because there's so many people in the oracle, and this is not about me and my work. This is about humanity and the evolution of humanity and all of the creative gifts that everybody has. So we've created a guest art wall where some people have their own artwork, writing or
I'm on there.
pictures, or their own expression of their own creativity has a space for in this gallery, and that was really important to me. And that also came from here, working with people, bringing the beauty, seeing the beauty in everybody and bringing that alive has been a really important part for me in this journey.
And I want to touch on, you've called this the Memory Keeper's Atelier. Tell us more.
Yeah, so these illustrations at the top are from the Memory Keeper.
Oh yeah. Hello.
Hello, feel free to look around.
Thank you.
So the Memory Keeper is from card number 1, and she is the one that not only opens up the library of those books, but she dives deeper into them. She's the storyteller. She's the one who writes the words. She's the one who draws the pictures. And so I also embodied that energy of the Memory Keeper, saying, I'm going to remember this part of myself, through witnessing the magic and wisdom of every single woman who is in this part of the journey.
Right, and tell us about the reactions. So somebody, a woman will come to you and say, I want to be put on the page. When you pass that back to them, you're just essentially channeling what their soul is trying to show you, right? And then you pass it back to them. Tell us about people's reactions when you give that back to them.
Oh, right, okay. So I'd involve them in the journey, in the lead up and the ceremonial process, and often there'd be channeled messages that come through, like, I need to say this to them. And so then once I share the picture and I've edited it and elaborated it, then I'd share it with the women. And they have some amazing things came up. There was one that's got some puzzle pieces in it, and she said, oh yeah, I used to love doing puzzles when I was younger, and there was just these symbols that started coming, and that gave me confidence to realise, wow, I'm really channeling the soul here. I'm really putting the soul on the page.
Wow.
And then there's been many women who've come back to me afterwards, many, because this started 6 years ago, who've come back and said, yeah, I've still worked with my portrait, it's still teaching me. Every time I come back to it, it teaches me something more. And that's how deep and true and real I work, you know.
Okay.
And it's beautiful to kind of have that feedback as well.
Oh, it's funny, just as you said that, there's a projector showing all the cards on the wall, and it showed the Lionheart with a picture of me.
For you,
Yeah.
you're in it too, yeah.
I love that one, it's amazing. So tell us more about Journey 2. So we touched on 13, and I mean, we could talk so much about how plant medicine has influenced this journey, and because I was speaking about this earlier to a couple of guests that came in about how I firmly believe that we couldn't have completed this journey without it. But it's up to you if you want to talk more about that. But tell us more about Journey 2, because I know it evolves all the way up to card 37, which is Divine Union, right? So it's quite a big journey,
it
right?
ends at card 36, yeah.
Quite a huge journey for women to take on this one, yeah?
So, it involves learning about plant medicine, but also there is a card in here actually called the Medicine Garden, and it's moreover about
18,
connecting back to the wisdom of nature. And you could journey with lavender, you can journey with sage, you can journey with all different kinds of plants. And
yeah, it doesn't have to be psychedelic.
absolutely not. And actually, one of my great mentors and friends, Marianne, card 55, and she's in the Earth Tribe cards. Hi Marianne, you're amazing. She's an incredible nature spirit woman and nature coach, and she's been my guide as an elder in connecting back into the plant world.
She's a tree shaman, right?
Yeah, right, she is, she's incredible.
Yeah.
And so that's only part of it. That's part of the deep feminine wisdom that's needs to be brought back up, brought back into life, like connecting with nature and all the different ways for healing. So this is quite a long journey, 18 cards. It goes through the red, black and white with all these different kinds of teachings on sisterhood, teachings on sovereignty, teachings on looking at yourself in the reflection in the mirror, teachings on going into the cave and finding the wisdom within, the labyrinth, teachings on the budding energy that comes through you, ancestral connection, metamorphosis.
Yeah, talk to us about that one, because it's speaking to me. In card 28, innate metamorphosis, this one's called, the innate.
So actually this woman sat behind me on one of my ayahuasca ceremonies.
Ah.
And then I didn't know her before then, and she it was one of my big initiation ceremonies, and she contacted me afterwards, and she said something along the lines of I just really want to honour you for how you surrendered into the ceremony this weekend, and I honour your process. And I was like, wow, because I was going through quite some initiations, and and so this innate metamorphosis, these cards, this was a gift for her that she came in and did this, but it was also the teachings of that encounter and that experience with her all woven into this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you transform? How do you go into that dissolving space where you can become somebody new? How do you do that? And this is what this series is about, This is always invitations into embodying these different frequencies. And not just that teaching, but that teaching in the black, the teaching in the white, the teaching in the red, and how they change. Yeah.
And tell us how that, I noticed it changes towards the end where you add blue and then it moves into a completely different journey.
Yeah, so I started noticing the change within myself because, first of all, at the beginning of my art was all black and white, and then red came in, like that red apple. The colour on this came afterwards, but essentially it was black and white and then red came in. And when I put red in here, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm using red for the first time in my art. But, you know, then I started connecting with my menstrual cycle, the wisdom of women and red and life. And then I started seeing blue, and I just trusted it. I just kept following. So the next colour that was blue, and then the next colour came was gold, it's yellow. And so that has trickled into the series of initiation portal for this journey. In journey 1, the initiation portal was those three cards, and in this, the journey 2 ends with the blue coming in card 31, trickling in, coming through 6 cards, and ending with all the colours in the final card. So this brings in those primary colours of red, blue, yellow.
Which make all the colours.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
this is an initiation portal.
right, and you mentioned the final card has all the colours, and this card is fantastic. This is hanging up in the ceremony. It's really stunning, and it's called Pattern Breaker. Talk to us about that one.
Yeah, so when you start learning about your own inner healing, like your own emotional healing, your own, like your karmic healing, inner child healing, intergenerational healing, you may realize, like, I don't fit in anymore. I wasn't who I used to be. You start breaking those patterns of who you were. You might have been a scapegoat or a black sheep in your family or among friends, and you start to become at peace with that because there's a greater strength that's coming through you. There's a deep remembrance of why you came here and what you came here to do, and that's through these teachings they arrive, but then there comes this culmination where it's like, no, I'm taking this, I'm going to live this, this is part of me, this is what I do. And you break the patterns of who you thought you were, and you embark again on a new journey.
Right, so you break the patterns of your programming you've been brought up to embody and embody the truth you take. Like, you've taken your own journey to essentially remember who you are without any programming.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what you're integrating now, isn't it? So your whole medicine journey has been about, you know, purification and then remembrance of who you are, and then the integration of that now, which is the manifestation of your dreams.
Absolutely.
How does it get any better than that?
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well. Yeah, and so that this is illustrated through this journey, and there's so many ancient things like, you know, the labyrinth on the floor, learning how to journey in so many different ways. There's 24 cards in this series. Each card is another teaching in learning how to journey, learning how to open more wisdom, learning how to return deeper into more truth of who you are.
Wow, perfect. Okay, so pre-order Hazel's Oracle deck at www.thehazelgolden.com, and there's lots going on. There's a party going on, there's pre-orders going on, I think you're going to be later on, she's going to be selling some art prints. The exhibition's amazing. It's in Poole and Dorset at the Lighthouse. It's free to get in, and
If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
it's epic.
Yeah,
Get involved.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Bye bye.